May 27th is when it's opening.
Yeah, to June 15th.
At the Campus Community Arts Center in the Union Building.
Right.
You gonna be selling some of your paintings too?
Yeah, some of them, yeah, a lot of them. And some of them I'm going to hold on to for future purposes.
Yeah.
You know. But for the most part, there's something for everybody. There's going to be artwork, that's, more or less kid-oriented, for children, and a lot of adult-based stuff, a lot of fantasy, a lot of psychedelia, a lot of jazz and blues, influenced stuff like that. And I hope, I don't know, I hope, everybody walks away satisfied. I mean, I want people to like what they see. If they don't, I appreciate them coming anyway. Right now I've got 81 ready to go, and some of them just need to be framed. Plus there's going to be a display of the artwork I'm using for my film I'm making too. Plus there's going to be a promotional video showing behind the scenes sketches and stuff of the movie I'm working on.
Do you work mainly from photographs? Or?
It depends, because, well, as an example, I mean, I'm a big Jimi Hendrix fan. It's like when I'm doing a picture of Hendrix, I've almost got it pictured in my mind pretty much, unless it's a picture I've never seen before. Some people, I can do from memory or do my own version of them from memory. And some things I do use photos from, and some's just left up to the imagination. It varies. It depends on if I'm doing it in abstract or portrait. It just varies.
How long have you been painting? You say?
Ever since 1980. I've done it before, but then I went to Ivy Tech in Columbus, took up commercial art to further it, make it better than what I had done with it. And, had I not gone there, I probably wouldn't be painting at all, really, But my main interest lies in animation, and that's what I'd like to see a career in. I mean, if, whichever comes first, if I could get a better job, doing paintings and, graphic art or whatever, I'll go for it, but my main interest lies in animation. Oh, this one's called Fix It. It's about corruption in the world, and it just ties in every little thing, like you'll see. It's a skeleton holding out, all the problems of the world, like racism, drugs, drug deals and stuff, the environment's, messed up, nuclear problems and stuff like that, and the little peace button known as tie indicates there's so little peace and so much corruption, It's a statement painting, whatever, but you can take it as whatever, That's what I meant to tell you, my influences, because there were Warhol, Peter Max, and Leroy Neiman, all the, people who like a lot of color in their work. What a Woody Guthrie. I'm trying to go back as early as some of the pioneers that boosted rock, give credit where credit's due, The reason for the browns and all the dull colors is because it's sort of to depict, he was around during the Depression era, and it was a pretty dim period, lack of money, and little faith, and so, it's just the colors are supposed to just depict a certain era. That's Phil Oakes. I don't know, he's what I describe as a hidden hero. I mean, it's like in rock or whatever. A lot of people are familiar with him and a lot of them aren't, but he was there. He was still a part of it one way or the other. Lead Belly, or as some people know him, Huddy Ledbetter. And he was a blues folk singer from, a long time ago. And a lot of groups were influenced by his music as well as Woody Guthrie and people like Lightning Hopkins, Howlin' Wolf.
Did he play electric at all, or was he mainly acoustic?
No, he was mainly acoustic. Oh. Well, I just figure when I, give credit where credit's due. It's like Jimi Hendrix. His band started out with the Jimi Hendrix Experience, and on the left is his bass player, Noel Redding, and on the far right, in the pink and red, is his drummer, Mitch Mitchell. And the lady at the top is just part of the painting, just part of the psychedelic aspect of it.
Dolly Dagger, maybe, or...
Yeah, could be. Good, Bill, good.
Maybe that's the foxy lady.
But you can, keep it coming. But you can see the Peter Max influence in this pretty much with the stars and planets. But not only so much that, but I wanted to capture the art style of some of the concert posters from the 60s, which involved a lot of color and sort of a comic cartoonish type look. So it's more or less like a tribute to that as well. You don't care for me, I don't care about that. Got a new groove, I like it. I have only one burning this night. Let me stand next to your fire, baby. Let me stand next to your fire. 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 Oh yeah. Something was there. When I look at Hendrix, it's like, it goes beyond the music. I mean, I just look at him also as like some kind of cosmic character, It just goes beyond rock and roll. I just look at him as someone who's real photogenic, and when I see certain pictures, I get certain ideas of how to picture him in a painting or in a certain situation in a painting. He's almost like a comic book character, just real vibrant and energetic. I mean, it's like he doesn't just sit in with just the music. It's also his image and, the clothes he wore. He was real colorful, real psychedelic. And that's basically, I guess that's the main reason I like, doing paintings of it. It's not like a weird obsession where you buy every t-shirt of him or every poster. It's just, just something that hits me off and on. I just thought he was a colorful person, and I guess in some ways he's a colorful character, and I just like doing things of him and anybody else, the Beatles. I like doing pictures of the Beatles and Lennon and stuff like that, but it's like you see so much of it, so I just thought maybe let's jump for something different. It's like you have all your Beatles pictures and Elvis's, which are fine, but I just wanted to shake ground a little bit and just do some stuff with Hendrix, I mean, he's an influence in my art too, strange enough, and music can inspire a lot of things, whether it be art or poetry or anything, and Hendrix is my main influence, along with a lot of other people too, as far as music, like Dave Baker is a jazz professor at IU. He's a big influence on some of the artwork I do. His music to me is like colorful and stuff like that. And I, listen to it and do a lot of his art. Do a lot of artwork. And hopefully, I'm going to try and get one together of him. I did have a painting of him, but his wife gave it to me for his birthday. So, in my jazz collection or whatever, I'd like to throw in another painting of him because I think that he's a real big part of, there's no thinking. I mean, he is, a big part of jazz and blues and stuff like that. And his reputation is big and largely built around it. I really respect him a lot. He's a big influence to me in a lot of ways.
Now here's a famous blues musician.
Yeah, he jammed with the best, man, I swear. I mean, I saw him at Fillmore East. Nah, I'm a movie buff. I like Charlie Chaplin a lot. And just thought I'd throw in a picture of him for good measure. I like movies a lot as well as music.
Well, this stuff is starting to get scary.
Well, it's not supposed to get scary. I mean, it's supposed to get a little into the bizarre, but, you know, it's, you know, way of life. I don't know, this one's called The Ignorance Party, and, you know, it's just a bunch of weird goofball skeletons having a good time. You know, it's a
Do you look at much Mexican art? I know that's,
No, but that, you know, it was funny. It's funny you say that because I was gonna do a painting like that along the lines of the Mexican skeleton fiesta type artwork involved too, that are colorful, that, well, some involve skeletons and all that, but when people see them, I don't want them to think, well, this has to do with, you know, this show has to do with anything negative. It's just something I did, you know, not anything to be taken seriously, no real statement or anything like that. It's just there. And the name of it is Nights Are Nights, you know, and what that means is, like, you have good nights, you have bizarre nights, you have bad nights. And I painted this on New Year's Eve, and I think finished it the day after, you know, and New Year's Eve ties in real well with this simply because New Year's Eve is a unpredictable evening. A lot of things happen, you know. You know, when I did it, I just did it. A lot of the stuff like this, I just draw out. I don't even pre-plan it. I just draw it on the canvas and paint it, you know. It just happens. A lot of them do. I guess that's where the color comes in. I try to, for something that might look too bizarre, something, I try and make up for it by adding a lot of vibrant colors to sort of lift up the attitude of whoever's looking at it. A lot of people said it reminds them of one of the Blue Meanies from Yellow Submarine, which I wouldn't be surprised about. I mean, getting back to animation, that's the film that made me want to do animation, period. And I wasn't thinking of it at the time I did the art, but I mean, the style was there and all. And
tell us a little bit about the film.
oh, well. All right, film. All right. The name of the film is called Sketch Attack. And the reason it's called Sketch Attack is because it has a lot to do with, well, things you sketch with, markers, paints, pencils, and the art looks sketchy, and it's sort of a rough type of film. I mean, it's not supposed to be so much perfect or stylized. It's supposed to look sketchy. You know, it's supposed to look like someone pictured in their mind what they would do if it was etched out in pens or pencils and markers. It has like two different types of animation in it. Cell animation, which is characters painted on plastic, you know, more familiar to the Saturday morning type stuff. And then it's also drawings done in pens and markers that are drawn directly on the paper and then filmed. And it doesn't really have any serious plot except for the name speaks for itself. I guess the name is the plot. The reason for the word attack, I guess, is because a lot of it jump at you. There's a lot of scenes that just take you by surprise. Some scenes blend into other scenes, and then some of the scenes just happen. You know, they just jump out of nowhere. You know, but basically, it's gonna run, I'd say, about 15, 20 minutes if I'm lucky.
Wow.
And I say if I'm lucky because I look at a lot of drawings and then think, God, this is going to break some ground, and then it ends up being shorter than I thought. But I've come up with enough to where I'm pretty well confident that it's going to reach that goal. The film itself probably won't be done until next spring, but what I'm showing at the art exhibit is stuff that's pretty much in the making of it. You'll see animated sketches, some of the stuff, you know, production stuff, you know, because the film is still in the works yet. I've been working on it.
This is the same one you were working on 4 years ago when we were going to premiere a snowy night.
Longer than that, you know. even before that, but I don't know, things get in the way. I mean, I don't really have the time that I'd like to put into something like this, you know, considering it's a full-time effort, and I can only jump on it whenever I had time to, so if I had the time, you know, I would have had it done a lot more sooner. Plus, I'm self-taught, you know, in animation. I mean, that's not to boast or anything. It's just saying that I had to learn a lot of things the hard way. You know, if I had a chance to be in a school, I'd jump on it in a heartbeat. This is a model sheet of one of the cars used in the movie. Actually, this car is the star of the show. It's a 57 Chevy, and it takes place in the future. I mean, the movie has no real major plot. It's just like an adventure crossover between the psychedelic 60s and the future, and it's a journey that the car goes through, and sort of modified it, make it look like a spaceship. And this is just another model sheet once again of one of the cars in the film. It's optional, and when you create model sheets, you come up with ideas for different characters or different cars or a certain setting, and these are just some ideas I'm just throwing out left and right.
Is this a major character in the film?
No, that's one of the computer center's headquarters in the movie. These are background paintings right here. And, you know, like in animation, all the areas that are yellow in animation, you'd have like different things going on, like computer lights blinking and stuff like that. So they're left blank for what you would do like an overlay on. Once again, you know, that's just another one of the many backgrounds used in the film. A lot of this stuff will be on display at the exhibit in the animation section of it. And the reason it's so dimly lit, it's green, is because it's, you know, it's an underground bad guy scene. You know, everything is dark and spooky looking. Okay, this sequence involves a bird, if you can see it, bird. And he's flying through all these weird different dimensions. And I'm gonna flash some of the other pictures, and like so. In this scene, the scene is turning around like a clock, going to another scene, and while all the scenes are changing and everything, background's moving or whatever, the bird is still flying non-stop. There's no breaks in between it. And same as here, there's another one. And let's see. Like so, there's another one. And there's some scenes in it where, you know, you'll see familiar faces, but briefly. I didn't want to, you know, exploit it or anything like that, but there's some scenes you'll see briefly of familiar faces. There's one. And there's another. And there's another. But these images, you know, they don't overpower the whole movie. It's not a movie about Marilyn or Lennon or the Beatles or anything like that. It's just certain things that bleep in and out, you know, in certain sequences. But yeah, these are some of the drawings that are used in the animated film I'm working on, and took a lot of time, took a lot of markers too. But all in all, it turned out being the way I wanted it to look.
long's the movie?
It's only going to be like 15 or 20 minutes, but for me that's long enough. I don't want to stretch it, make it anything bigger than that, or even if it's shorter than that, it'll have enough to capture what I'm looking for. You know, it's just a movie, you know, just a short film I wanted to tackle. It's the first thing I've ever done like this, so, you know, if any mistakes are shown, you know, it's like, be prepared or whatever. I mean, it's something I have fun doing, and it's hopefully something that'll make me move a step up as far as animation or getting someone interested in what I'm doing, because I'd like to work, you know, like I was saying, I'd like to work with an animation company someday, or, you know, no matter how big or small, I just want to be there, you know, work from the bottom up, wherever they put me, I just want to be a part of it, you know. It means a lot to me, and I've always admired it, you know, and I like kids a lot. I like to do some stuff for kids. I mean, I haven't really shown much kid stuff on the show yet, you know, but basically, you know, I like kids a lot, and I do have a lot of artwork that's going to be at my show for kids, and I think it's important, you know, to keep an eye on kids. I mean, they're the future. I'm not trying to get preachy or anything, but there's a lot of things out there, you know, we got to keep our kids from, you know, which, yeah, a lot of negative things, you know, so it's like, you know, it's like through my artwork, I'm trying to, you know, give kids a lot of, you know, a positive view. I mean, I know some of the stuff in my show is going to be a little bizarre, but if their parents just take them right over to the section that says kids, you know, I won't get in trouble. But I like kids a lot, you know, hope to have some of my own. But in the meantime, you know, I have a lot of art that's going to be there for kids, and as far as animation goes, I like to do Saturday morning stuff for kids, you know, and share some of my ideas with them. I like talking to them and stuff. You can learn a lot from them, you know, just like they learn from us. We can learn right back from them. They surprise us, you know, and I'm sure we surprise them. But, you know, kids are important, and I like to, you know, show as much kid stuff in my exhibit as possible, and hopefully meet some there. I like kids a lot. They're cool. Can't live without them. Legs.
Speaking with Joel Washington, his show will be coming up in late May and early June. Don't miss it.
Don't, please.
Don't miss it.
Don't.
You don't